Hi, Victoria Casey here, and today I was talking about overcoming anxiety. And of course, the blog is about writing and jumping off into writing and adventures in writing, but the truth is, a lot of us have a lot of fear and anxiety, and this is something that I've used in my own life. And first of all, let me say, I am not a psychologist or a therapist or anything. I am not telling you to do something as a healthcare professional. I'm just going to share with you a secret that I've used to help me overcome negative patterns and beliefs that kept me frozen in my tracks for the longest time. And so this is a really simple one. And I want to give you an analogy about how your brain works from my understanding of it, just the research I've done over the years. And I have a master's in public health and a couple other degrees. One's in biology, one's in communication. So this is just based on my own research. Again, I'm not a healthcare professional, but I want to tell you how I understand it. Basically, what you need to know is that when you have a traumatic event in your life, or a series of traumatic events that cause a lot of fear, your brain creates certain transmitters. And they transmit to your body, and then your cells start producing certain types of actual molecules. So your body has a very physical response, just as your brain has a very physical response to stress and to fear and to negative emotion. It also has a response to positive emotions, so that's really good. That's something that's really important in this case. So, and again, having hair issues here today. And see the streak? I did the streak. Cool, huh? Okay. So anyway, what this boils down to is that when your body has a stressful event, say your power or electric gets turned off, or something that's very upsetting to you because you're going through a financial hardship, or you have an emotional breakup with someone, any of these things actually trigger a whole cascade of biological events. And if you have a reoccurring pattern in your life, it's kind of like memory foam. If you ever seen a memory foam mattress, if I take my hand and I put it in it, I'm going to get a pattern in it, right? Well, if you keep having this pattern so that these events are very similar to one another, the pattern becomes more like concrete. So now you have this palm-shaped memory in not in the just the foam of the mattress, but in concrete. So what you've got to do is you've got to fill in that space, that little handprint there. You've got to fill it in with something else. And so when your body and your brain encounter another situation that seems familiar, that seems to have some of the same stressors involved, some of the same hallmarks, you have a little area of your brain called the reticulated activated system. And it's about this big. It's this little area in the bottom of your brain. And it helps you recognize patterns. And we need it. It helps us find things in life. It actually helps us reach goals. And think of it this way. Whenever you get a new car, you never notice there's a bazillion red cars on the road, because your reticulated activated system sensed that you had an emotional connection to getting that car. Whatever you have an emotional connection to, your brain figures must be important. It means pay attention. It's going to happen again. So, again, back to the patterns. If it sees the pattern again, it recreates the same chemical, biological response. And neurons that fire together wire together. In other words, so every time we have that pattern, it becomes more and more locked in our brain, locked in our very body, in our cells. And just like the concrete, now if we want to get rid of that pattern, we don't want that handprint anymore, or that whatever print it is, say it's a negative print, how do we get rid of it? Well, here's a very simple way, and I hope this wasn't too confusing, but basically we want to reroute your brain a bit. So in order to learn a new habit, to overcome something, that's one of the reasons it's so difficult to create new habits, is because we're biologically wired, we're mentally wired, we're physiologically attached to these emotions and these states. Okay, as a matter of fact, in a sense, we're even addicted, but I'll do a thing on that on another day. So basically, here's how you do it. It's a real simple method. I want you to get into a very relaxed state, and I want you to gaze at a 20-degree angle up, so like this. So you're looking slightly up. Doing that creates an alpha state in your brain, which is a very relaxed state. It's just something we naturally do. So gaze slightly upward at a point opposite on the wall from you. And then I want you to take several deep cleansing breaths. Try and just relax. And now I want you to think for just a moment of something that's incredibly beautiful to you and meaningful. If you don't have a memory like that, then I want you to make one up. I don't care if you think about flying ponies. Whatever it is, it has to have an emotional response. So in order to rewire this stuff, we're going to create a nice template. So we're going to put another handprint in the memory foam, and then hopefully it'll become in concrete later. But we're going to teach you something very easy to do. So I want you to focus on the area around your heart while you're looking at that spot on the opposite wall. And then, sorry, I went black for a moment. Did you close your eyes? And then I want you to think about something beautiful. Think about love, or just listen to my words. Think about kindness. Think about compassion and beauty. Words actually have an effect on our brain, on the way we respond. When I say the word beauty, it actually has a chemical cascade. So I want you to think about something beautiful, whether it's the birth of your child, or making love, or walking down a beach, or playing with your dog, whatever it is, something beautiful and meaningful to you. Now, as you do that, I want you to make this symbol with your fingers. You can do it with either hand. In my case, I'm right-handed. Now, hold this thought for 30 seconds. Hold this feeling of joy and goodness, and just do it for 30 seconds. And keep doing this. Now, throughout the day, in the next coming weeks, I want you to do that for 3 times a day. Think of that beautiful, wonderful thing, whatever it is. You can even change the memories, it doesn't matter. And do that. Now, when you're stressed, do that. Your body will pick up the feedback from you making that gesture and will have associated it with a positive emotion. You see, here's the deal. Again, whatever you feel important, you have emotional charge to it. So your body and your brain recognize patterns, and it also recognizes things that we have an emotional attachment to, whether that be fear, stress, worry, love, whatever. In order to overcome a habit, you have to change the neurological wiring of your brain. So if you're stressed and you're afraid, you can't really put anything else in there. Here's something else. That reticulated activated system is what helps you find goals too. So unconsciously, when you put importance on something, whether it's worry or joy, whatever you've attached a lot of emotion to, your brain thinks, oh, that's what I want. So it starts creating these reoccurring patterns in our life to give us whatever it is that gave us that emotional response. Because that's how it designates what's important. It's basically, this is basically an operating manual for your brain. So this is just one thing. And then another, just not to go too deeply, you become addicted to your emotion states. You know those proteins and stuff I was talking about, those amino acids and stuff that your neurotransmitters that your brain connects to, that sends out basically, it sends signals through your body, and your body starts recreating certain things, and each cell becomes, in a sense, addicted to those emotional responses because it gets those proteins. And as it gets them all the time and starts putting them in the cell, it develops more docking sites for those proteins. So you can think of it like a lunar landing module, and it has a lot of docking sites, or a dock, actually be even better, dock on a lake. So each ship that comes in has to have a place to dock. Well, if you start getting a whole lot of ships coming in bearing the same cargo, you're going to produce a bunch of gates and docks for those things to come in. That's what your cells do. Now, when you don't have those things, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, your body starts to crave them, and they start saying, wait a minute, the dock's drying up, nobody's coming in. So it starts to send a message to your brain, and your brain starts recreating that mood state again. So what if you're addicted to drama? What if you're addicted to worry or fear? You can become addicted to those just like you can joy. And you'll find yourself sabotaging yourself, if those are the things you're addicted to get that mood state again. Then you wonder why you have this crappy pattern running in your life. And so, besides setting little micro goals, which I'll talk about on another time, this is something that you can do very easily. Begin to reprogram your mind to a state of peace. So when those things start coming up, and by the way, your body's not going to like it, your mind's not going to like it. It doesn't like change. It likes to take the path of least resistance. When those things start happening, just do this and think of something beautiful. It'll send a whole cascade of other biochemical responses. And if you continue to do this for like 30 days, it actually begins to rewire some things. So you can't really attract into your life or have goals that don't have an emotional plug-in for you. You just want to make sure it's the right one, because worry is like setting goals, but it's setting all those goals in reverse. So you have to focus on the things that you really want, and then begin to feel the emotions as if you already had those things. And that helps our brains narrow the focus about what we really want, and it helps us work with our bodies and our minds to get those things and to change our lives. And again, it starts with that. So remember the okay, whatever it is, whatever joyous thing you've got that you can focus on several times a day for 30 seconds, just do this. Make sure you do this every time. And then when you're stressed, do it again. When you're feeling fearful, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when things seem to be crashing down around you, give yourself a reset button and think about what you really want. And don't Don't just worry about the problem at hand in one sense. Emotionally think about what it's going to be like when you get out of that problem, and change your focus. And it'll also clear your mind, lower your blood pressure, and it'll help activate creative parts of your brain to help you reach your goals faster. So this is Victoria Casey. Hope this helped you, and be sure to follow my blogs. Talk to you later. Bye.